Hello again, and welcome to Winnie with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. The information on today's program was gathered from many different places and people. If you hear yourself in this conversation, it's not all about you. For speaking engagements or appearances, please contact us at 727-422-1833 or send me an email at dick@ewfw.org. Now, today's program, we're going to look at something that I believe is very important in today's time. About this time of year, everyone starts to think about their New Year's resolutions, which, quite frankly, I'm not real happy about. You see, New Year's resolutions, the dreams, the goals, the taking the actions, it's all usually built on ifs and whens and hope and wish and will and not will and do. You see, the can, will, and do has to go along with the if, when, and hope, or they're just words coming out of your mouth and on a piece of paper. So, here's what I want to say to you. In each of the titles, if, when, and hope, there is some truth, some scarcity of truth. So let's talk about that word resolution. You see, resolution means a firm decision to do or not to do something. You see, this is a solid statement. One that you can share with someone to hold you accountable, and it will be a fact. What holds us back most of the time is this thing of accountability. We ask somebody, did you make your New Year's resolution? They say, oh, yes, I have. I've gotten them all written down, and I'm excited about them. And a couple months later, if you ask about them, nothing's even started, because there's some simple things that needs to happen with them that we're going to cover. You see, the situation is this. Quite frankly, we're all human, and we are almost to a person procrastinators. We procrastinate about everything. Now, if you think about that, you're going to find out that it's true even for you. And you might say, well, why? Why are we procrastinators? Well, it boils down to what we use in our vocabulary and our lives. You see, when we use the word if I have time, if I can fit it in, if it's not too hard, if I remember, you see, the word is almost a sign of you're not going to accomplish what you've agreed to. That's a scary thing, isn't it? Now, the word when is almost as the same as if. You've heard yourself say it. Oh, when I have time, when I can fit it in, when it's convenient, when it doesn't rain outside, when I have money, it goes on and on. But you see, if and when start to turn into nothing but excuses for not accomplishing, not adding the action to the opportunity. Now, I often hear a lot of pastors and other people who speak talk about the word hope. You see, hope is my favorite thing to talk about, because in my world, hope is a favorite cop-out. It's just as bad as if and when. You see, I hope will have enough time. I hope someone comes along and helps me out. I hope it doesn't rain outside. I hope I can make enough money. I hope. And you know what? Without the action, there's nothing there. It's just a word. Now, when my wife was talking to me about this, she asked me, what word is your all-time favorite that you want to talk about today? I said it'd be wish. Wish is my all-time favorite because I wish I was taller, shorter, faster, smarter, had more money. But all those things I wish. And I won't tell you what my grandfather told me about wishing in one hand and something else in the other hand, but it's just a cop out. This thing of I wish without action is just a word. And leaders, this is why I'm saying this to you, because we as leaders sometimes use those titles when we're talking to people. Gee, I hope we can get this done. If we get this done, we can do that. Well, they make all sorts of dreams and goals and things, but they don't add what needs to happen with them. You see, when, hope, wish, if, they're all good words. There's no doubt about it. The only thing that can make them work, though, is action. And I'm talking with a capital A, action. That is the key to each and every resolution. And that action component is what is usually left out. We as leaders can do something about that. You see, we can take some actual action steps to make them go to work for us. Now, the first thing I'm going to encourage all of you to do is to look through last year's calendar. I want you to see where you spent your time, your money, and your efforts. And I really want you to go page by page if you have it written down on paper, but go through the computer, however you have it. I hope you've saved your calendar. You see, when we visit or revisit that calendar, there's things on it that will tell us where we were and what we were doing. And quite frankly, that's going to be an important piece of this puzzle. Now, I'm also going to encourage you to revisit what I hope you have already written down. And that's your vision, your future picture. What's it look like? Has it changed from last year? Has it changed from where you think you want to be in the future? Have different things changed on that? And if so, how, what, when, where, what's changed? Does it need to be rewritten so you understand it better? So those who you share it with understand it better? Maybe it's something you need to revisit. I'm going to also encourage you to revisit your mission, your purpose, your calling. Why are you here on this earth? What are you doing? You see, making a New Year's resolution without knowing that and without having a vision, you can't do the next part, and that's having a strategy. You see, the day-to-day plan is so important. But those are the things I wish and hope and will do. You see? Without that, you really don't have much. Now, I want you to answer these questions as you revisit this, as you re-look at your calendar. Ask the questions, what went well? What did not go so well? And here's the good one. What did I learn from each of those things? What did I learn from the good? What did I learn from the bad? And then I really want you to look down as, what does my future picture look like? You see, with ages and stages, sometimes our future picture changes. Our purpose doesn't normally change. Our calling doesn't normally change. Once you realize what it is, once you find out what it is. But when you ask the question, am I living my purpose? So many people I ask, they say, oh, sure, yeah, I kind of, maybe, maybe, because they're really not living their purpose. And am I using the correct strategy? You see, with different ages and stages and different places within your life, your strategy is going to change. Again, Your purpose, probably not. Your vision, it could wobble a little bit. I'll give you a good example. Many years ago, when Miss Robin and I were really young, our goal was to have a cabin in the woods, up in the mountains. And then we went through different ages and stages and raising our children and whatnot, and we found out that, boy, taking care of one household is really hard enough. Taking care of two households, that might be just more than what we want to do. So our vision changed. Our strategy then changed also. That money we were saving to do that with, we started traveling with. You see, the vision changed, the strategy changed, the mission did not. That's what I'm talking about. Now that you've looked through your calendar from last year, you've spent some time going through your vision and mission and strategy, I want you to do this. I'm going to encourage you to do this, to start the list and be strategic about it. Make sure each thing on that list is in line with your mission and vision. If you're not putting your dreams and your goals through that lens, I'm going to really encourage you to do so. You see, if you're not using a strategy that's going to let you live your mission and achieve your vision, why are you doing it? That's a big question. That's why you need to look back at that calendar and find out where you're spending your time and your money and who you were with. It becomes very important before you make those kind of New Year's resolutions. I hope you see how we're doing on this, because it becomes such an important piece. And in leaders, this is a piece that I really do believe that you need to look at personally as well as corporately. If you have a business and you're not doing these things, how do you know how to plan for the future? Even next quarter? I don't know. Well, after you've done all those things and you've taken the time and you've really put some time and pressure into it, I want you to write down so you can see your vision, mission, and your strategy daily. I mean, put it on the wall in your daytime or on your vehicle. Put it on the mirror. Put it places where you really are going to see it, so it reminds you why you're doing what you're doing. And if what you're doing is not fitting into those categories, you need to realign what you are doing and how you're doing it. You see, that is the part of accountability. This next part is going to even take it further. I'm going to encourage you to share your list with other people so they can help you stay on the right path. I'm going to also say that accountability and action are the key to success in this situation. Changing those words of if and when and hope to I can and I will start to really change how we're doing things. When we share what our vision and our mission and our strategy is with other people, you never can know who's going to be there to be of service and help to you achieve those type of opportunities. You see, we just never know who's right around the corner who can help us. We don't share it. They don't know. They can't guess what's in your mind any more than you can guess what's in their mind. Now, I'm going to encourage you, again, I'm encouraging you to review your list, your strategy, often. Use it in your planning for your week, your month, your year. And keep it posted. Keep sharing it with other people. Encourage them to do the same. If you're doing this with your company, your business, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to make a difference to the people who work with you. They're going to see that there's a direction and there's a guiding piece that goes along with this. They're going to say, hey, I've actually got a part and piece in this strategy opportunity. But if you don't share it with them and you're the leader, well, You make them just pawns on the big chessboard. You don't actually make them part of the team. That's why this becomes so important. And when people come to me this time of year and say, Dick, I've got my New Year's resolutions, I ask them, are they written down? Did you funnel them through your vision and mission? So that's their strategy? I have to tell you that very seldom do we come across, Miss Robin and I, people who have actually done this. The difference is what we've noticed. The people who do these 6 steps are the ones who are progressing and moving ahead. They're the ones who are company owners who have people who love going to work with them every day, who love being in the trenches, love being there because they know where they're headed and how they're going to get there, and they've actually been a part of that strategy. It's a huge piece. We were teaching this the other day to a group of people. There were several pastors into the group. And some of them said, well, I'm not a CEO of my company. I understand that. And I truly do, Pastor. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But I'll tell you what. If your leadership in your church is not doing these things, how do you know you're going? How do you know when you're there? How do you know how you're going to get there? Big things. Let me go over them real quick here just because I just think they're so important. As you're going through this piece of alignment for your year. Now, again, you don't have to do this just once a year. We do this on a quarterly basis here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development because we have found out that this is what keeps us moving forward. So let's look at these action steps one more time. Look through last year's calendar and see where you spent your time, your money, and your efforts. Visit or revisit your vision, your picture, your mission, your purpose, your strategy, your plan, and answer these questions as you do. What went well? What did not go well? What did I learn from each? What does my future picture look like? Am I living my purpose? Am I using the correct strategy? Some heavy questions. The number 3 is now start your list and be strategic, making sure each thing on your list is in line with your mission and vision. Number 4, write down everything so you can see it daily. Put it on the wall, in your daytimer, in your vehicle, anywhere, on the mirror, in the bathroom, wherever it is. Make sure that you're looking at it all the time. Number 5, share your list with others to help you stay on the path. You see, accountability and action. These 2 things are the key to success. And review your list often, especially when you're planning your week, your month, and your year. I hope this brings you to a different understanding of this New Year's resolution piece on how you can really make it work instead of just something you've talked about. Now I'm going to bring up a different subject because I have to tell you, it goes right along with this. It has been brought to my attention that in today's world, it seems like everyone's fearful. Now, I'm not so sure what they're fearful for, but I want to explain this to you. Leaders, this is our responsibility to help people see there's nothing to fear but fear itself. So let's break it down just a little bit, okay? If you're not driving in your car and you're actually at home or you're someplace where you have a pencil and paper, I want you to do this for me. And if not, see if you can play this back later and listen to it. Write down the word fear, F-E-A-R. Now, just writing it down, how does it make you feel? Does it start to make your insides jumble around a little bit? If so, Let's continue on with this conversation. Next, I want you to take it somewhere else on the paper, to the right, to the left, below, whatever makes you happy. And I want you to write down the word choice. C-H-O-I-C-E. Choice. You see, and I want you to draw a line between fear and choice. You see, when we fear something, we have a choice to make. And our whole lives are made up of choices. And they say, you know, good choices made by making bad choices. I think that good choices are made by being prepared, by making sure that you're up on what's going on around you, that you have taken the time to gather knowledge about things that are going on and where you're at in life. You see, this fear and then choice can be the most important time you spend. I'm working with people now who seems like every time they get up in the morning, they pick up the paper or they listen to the news and they hear fear and they make a choice to have a terrible day and be fearful all day long. And all that choice does is make those around them fearful. Doesn't solve any of the situations or the problems or the opportunities. You see, when we fear, we have a choice to make. Now on that same piece of paper, somewhere below choice, I want you to write prepare. And I want you to draw a line between choice and prepare. And what's that mean? What it means is staying current. People say, Dick, I want to be an author. Well, that's great. Want to be an author? That's great. What are you reading? Where are you writing? What are you doing? Are you preparing for that next piece? You see, that's where that choice is. Are you getting yourself prepared? Are you staying on top of what you're saying? Or are you fearful that you might fail? Are you fearful that someone else will do it? And I'm going to tell you what, if you're so fearful, by the time you take and make another choice, someone's already done it. You see, fear, choice, prepare. We've got another couple steps here, ladies and gentlemen. You see, fear really isn't what it all cracked up to be. Right below prepare, I want you to write these words. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. You see, when you spell those out with just the first letters, it says fear. The evidence often comes from being prepared. When we're prepared and we're on top of our opportunity, we're on top of our life, we're on top of what's going on around us, we're staying clued in and we're listening to others. We're staying prepared by doing and gathering knowledge and reading books and going to seminars and doing whatever else it takes to stay on top. We have the evidence to show that fear is false, even if it's appearing real. Now, Miss Robin, she added some things to the bottom of this notation. And I thought it was interesting because as we talked about putting this program together, we actually have a whole program on this thing, fear. Because we have seen over and over, and we're hearing all the time how young people are more fearful today than they were in the past. Shoot, I grew up in a time when there was lots of wars just like there are now. Vietnam was hot and heavy, and every one of my buddies were getting drafted. You see, those things really haven't changed. Our government was going through a turmoil time, and there were people in the streets rioting. Not too much has changed. The different parties, Republicans and Democrats, were feuding over this and that. Not too much has changed. You see, fear is where you place it. But when you're prepared, you can oftentimes not be fearful because you can make the right choice. So here's what Miss Robin wrote at the bottom of the page. She wrote, no fear, no excuses, no regrets. I asked her what she meant by that, and she asked me, she said, well, Dick, do you have any regrets in your life? I said, no, I don't. Well, did you change anything? Well, I don't think so. I've been very fortunate to live a pretty good life. Has it been perfect? Heck no. Have I made my mistakes? You betcha. Have I been caught in that fear trap? Yes, sir. I worked for a large organization that was run by the union. Every 3 years, boy, that fearful time. People around me were fearful. Oh, going to get laid off. Oh, that's going to happen. You know, I always had another job. So I was never too fearful about that. And the people around me used to get angry with me because I wasn't all afraid that if I got laid off or something happened, I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills. Well, I guess I was smart enough to listen to my grandfather, and I always had something else going on. We've had more companies than I can shake a stick at. We've still got one that's almost 30 years old, and it's still working pretty hard. Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development's been going for the last 10 years, and I have to tell you, it's been the most fun for us. We get to travel and speak on stage about leadership and accountability, and that's because we don't have to make that choice to be fearful. We made the choice that we were going to have more than one income coming in, and we were going to do these things, that we were going to make a plan. A few minutes ago, you heard me talk about New Year's resolutions and making a plan and putting it in place on this last piece. So no regrets, no. Excuses? Here's what I've had to learn in my lifetime. Excuses are just excuses. And when you make excuses, that's when the fear factor starts to take and creep in. Because you didn't get prepared. And because you weren't prepared, you couldn't make the right choice. And you see, if you're prepared, you can make the right choice. There's no reason to be fearful. Now, there are times to be fearful. Someone's holding a gun on you. You betcha, that's fearful. You know, having to your brakes go out and having a car accident, that's fearful. You bet. There are times and places fearful. It's just real. But I have to tell you that most of the time that I work with people who are in fear. They're in fear of losing their jobs, losing a friend, doing something else happen, that they can't even motivate themselves to move. You see, they're unwilling to be prepared. They're unwilling to take that next step. They're unwilling to do that. So, when we talk about fear, remember, fear, draw a line down to choice, draw a line down to prepare, draw another line down to false evidence appearing real, and underneath it, put down what Miss Robin said. In big bold letters, no fear, no excuses, no regrets. It's been fun today. I've really enjoyed my time with you again. We've talked about New Year's resolutions. We've talked about fear. Now, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, of course, I want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you've received, see that hope thing? Now, that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. That's the action part. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, we're going to encourage you to give us a call here. 727-422-1833, 727-422-1833. Send me an email, Dick, D-I-C-K, at EWFW.org. Pretty simple, stands for Earth, Wind, Fire, Water. Dick at EWFW.org. You know what? It's quick and easy. You can go to the website, EWFW.org. You can click on the thing. You can send us a note anytime you want to, and we'll get back to you as fast as I can. Well, I see our time's running short, and so until next time, this is DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.